Every fashion week, without fail, I find the same comments under social media posts. Who would wear that? That looks so ridiculous. Fashion is so out of touch with reality. And I get it. From the outside, Fashion Week looks completely insane. Models walking down runways in what looks like paper doll dresses, models being pushed in shopping carts in Chanel supermarkets, wearing things that look more like art installations than actual wearable clothes. But here's what most people don't understand: you are not supposed to wear them. Fashion Week isn't really just about the clothes. It's a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem that's about the players, the strategies, and economics that most people will never see. So today I'm breaking down exactly who Fashion Week is really for. And spoiler alert, it might include you even if you've never bought a designer piece in your life. I'm Tara, and if you're new here, I make videos breaking down the business behind fashion, the stuff that they don't talk about in Vogue. Shh. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. Let's talk about the stars of the shows, the creative directors. They're the ones that take a bow at the end, and they are the ones who create the vision that we're all watching. But here's what people don't realize: creative directors aren't just artists making pretty things, they're managing massive business mandates. Every single thing that they put on the runway has to accomplish several things simultaneously. One is delivering a compelling brand vision, the creativity, the artistry, the wow factor. Two, they have to generate buzz. Think those social media viral moments, editorial coverage, and people like me and you talking about it. And three, here's where my expertise really comes into play: giving the buyers something that they can curate a collection on to give the customers what they actually want to buy. Because let's keep it real, without the wholesale orders, there is no business. A lot of times when we're looking at those garments, we're looking at how we can create an entire collection, because we have to create an environment where customers want to come into the store and they want to buy multiple things. So we're not looking at it as piecemeal. Yes, we might be sitting with one particular designer, but we have to think about how the full sales floor is going to work together. So we have to think about key categories that we want to go after, key fabrications, key colors. So that's sort of the buyer's mindset when they're looking at a runway show. Their job is actually really, really complicated because they can't just consume and take in the one show. They have to take in the full picture. And then a lot of times, once they get back to their office and they review everything that they've seen, now they start to create these stories that are translatable to the customers when they walk in the stores. And then number four, it's keeping the ateliers and the artisans and the craftsmen who are behind the actual intricate process of putting those garments together, keeping them excited and engaged and wanting to show up every day. And that's a lot of pressure. And that pressure can look completely different depending on what brand you're working for. Take Demna for an example. He just took over as creative director for Gucci. Talk about pressure. He's literally reimagining a heritage house. That is not an easy feat. He's stepping into one of the most scrutinized roles in fashion. He has to honor decades of Gucci history while making it feel modern and relevant. He's got the weight of a $10 million brand sitting on his shoulders. And every collection is going to be scrutinized by everyone in the industry. We've been seeing a lot of chatter online with the first collection where a lot of people are saying it resembles a lot of Tom Ford Gucci. And I think as a part of the whole conversation of nostalgic fatigue, I think people feel like it's already done and it looks dated. So it was a smaller capsule. It was his first step into the Gucci house. So let's see what he does next season. But that's just an example of the type of pressure that a creative director can be under. Or let's think about a brand like Chanel. You have to honor Coco Chanel's legacy while also honoring what Karl Lagerfeld brought to the brands. Keep the codes recognizable, but keep it fresh and relevant. All while maintaining the mystique of one of the most powerful brands in the world. Now compare that to Catherine Holstein at Kate. She's an independent designer building her own brand from scratch. She does have quite the track record. While it's true that she doesn't have that legacy pressure, but she also doesn't have a safety net. Every season, She has to prove that Kate belongs in the conversation amongst the brands that we just talked about, your Chanel's, your Gucci's. She has to stay consistent to her aesthetic while continuing to evolve it. Completely different creative challenges, completely different business stakes. Now, let's talk a little bit about the customer period. This is the question that most of the people ask on social media. Who's actually wearing that? And the answer is it depends, because there's four different customers that are consuming the same fashion show in completely different ways. Think of it like a pyramid. At the base, you have the largest part of the pyramid. This represents the aspirational customer. These are people that might follow the luxury brand on social media. They may invest in one or two bags or accessory purchases, and they're definitely buying the beauty and the fragrance. So they're buying that Gucci Boom perfume, they're buying the Yves Saint Laurent lipstick, but they're not actually investing in ready to wear pieces from the collections. Most of them won't even walk into a Chanel store to try on a ready to wear piece. But the show, the print ads, the spectacle, that's what makes them feel close to and connected to the brand. And that base of that pyramid, this is Chanel's bread and butter. That $10 million show with the sets and the supermarket and the shopping carts, that's not selling you the clothes, that's selling you the dream. Then you go buy that $45 lipstick or that $150 perfume, or you might even save up $5,000 for one of those flip bags. The show creates the aspiration. The aspiration drives the accessible purchase. You see this pattern? Those accessible purchases fund the empire. That's the business model. Okay, so now moving up the pyramid, here's where you find your luxury shopper. So these are the people that are actually buying from the ready to wear collections every season. They're shopping at Bergdorf's or Net-a-Porter or even at the boutique's website. They're spending roughly between $2,000 to $10,000 per season on these clothes. They want runway inspired looks that are actually wearable. They're not buying that paper doll dress, but they are buying that beautiful tailored coat that's shown 3 looks later. And this is Kate's core customer. Catherine Holstein puts a collection on a runway. Those things need to be items that her customers are going to want to buy within the next 3 to 6 months. She can't afford to do pure fantasy. Each look has to be commercially appropriate, because her business model requires those customers to actually convert and buy. This show is product development and marketing at the same time. Then you have your celebrities, your actors, your influencers. They're the market multiplier. If you can dress the right person in one of your looks for the Met Gala or a red carpet appearance or just a high profile event, that's worth millions in free press. One red carpet moment can equal a year's worth of a marketing budget. Think about Harry Styles and Gucci, or Zendaya in that Mugler metal look, Rihanna in literally anything. They wear it once and the entire world sees it. The brand gets massive exposure. But here's what's interesting. Some brands use this strategy a little bit differently. Gucci dresses for spectacle and virality. They want the look to be bold, to get people talking, to dominate social media. Kate dresses for aspirational relatability. They want Kendall Jenner in their cashmere coat looking effortlessly chic, making their customer think, I think I want to wear that. Same strategy, completely different execution. And then at the very tippy top of our pyramid, we have the ultra high net worth collectors. These are the heiresses, the art collectors, the women who buy couture like investment pieces. There's maybe about 2,000 to 4,000 of these customers in the world, and that's it. But these are the women who actually do wear these unwearable pieces. They're commissioning custom couture gowns. They're buying archive pieces. They're literally collecting fashion like art. And they're the sole reason why couture shows exist at all. One couture client alone might spend anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million in a year on custom couture pieces. Yeah, $2 million. This justifies the entire atelier. That justifies the 600 plus craft people at the Chanel Atelier. That justifies the heritage and technique that's passed down each generation. So when you look at that Chanel Couture show and you think to yourself, oh my God, who would actually wear that? The answer is a very small group of incredibly wealthy women who look at those pieces as art. And for those brands, those women justify the entire couture operation. Okay, so we covered the creative directors, we covered the buyers, we covered the press, and we covered four different customer types and how they're all consuming the same show, but in very different ways. And here's what makes the ecosystem even more powerful, and here's where you might come into play. If you've seen the movie The Devil Wears Prada, then you know exactly where I'm going. You know that part in the movie when Miranda Priestley is talking to Andy about her lumpy blue sweater, and I can't remember the exact line, but I'll place it here.
Okay, I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select trickle-down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room.
That's not fiction. That's exactly how it works. Here's the process. Marc Jacobs shows paper doll inspired dresses with these exaggerated silhouettes on the runway. 6 months later, you're seeing volume and oversized shoulders and sleeves play at Zara. It might be in the way of oversized coats, exaggerated sleeves, sculptural shapes. Chanel Couture shows an intricate beading technique on a couture dress. Next year, you're seeing that same beaded technique on a clutch bag in Nordstrom. Gucci shows a bold new color story. Let's just say cerulean blue. Fast forward, it's in H&M's entire spring collection. Those unwearable runway looks, they're actually trend forecasting in real time. The fashion industry, from the top of luxury all the way down to fast fashion, are all watching those shows to pick up cues. The colors, the silhouettes, the fabrications, the ideas, they all filter through every single level of fashion. So, again, when you ask who will wear that, the answer might be nobody for that exact piece. However, but you, yes, you, might end up wearing a piece that was inspired by it. That oversized coat at Zara, that came from luxury designer inspiration. Your H&M dress in this season's trending color, a designer showed that color 6 months ago. That denim silhouette that's suddenly everywhere, a luxury brand introduced that proportion on the runway. So when Gucci or Chanel or Kate put something on the runway, they're not just selling it to their core customer. They're setting the direction for the entire industry. That's influence, that's cultural power. And that's why the show is worth millions. So that's who Fashion Week is really for. The creative directors building their vision and managing massive business pressure, buyers translating those runway looks into saleable collections that their customers will want to buy, press creating content and coverage, and four completely different customer types. From that aspirational customer that's buying the lipstick to that luxury customer who's buying the coat, the celebrities getting the red carpet moments, to the ultra wealthy collectors that's actually wearing those couture pieces. All consuming the same show, but all getting something very different. And all of that trickling down to what you wear, even if you're shopping at Zara or an H&M. But I know what you're thinking. Okay, Tara, so I get who it's for. But you might still be wondering, why does that Kate coat cost $3,000? Why is that Chanel jacket $15,000? And that's what we're going to break down in part two. We're going to break down the fashion calendar, the economics behind the price tag, and why the system costs what it costs. If this video changed how you view Fashion Week, let me know in the comments. You guys are always really engaged, so I would love to hear what you think. What's your biggest question about how the fashion industry works? If you haven't already subscribed, what are you doing? hit the subscribe button. I can't wait to take you through more deep dives and have more fashion discussions. Thank you guys.